Have you ever noticed that kindness sometimes turns against you? You try to be understanding, patient, supportive. You do everything to be a good person. You go out of your way, you help, you sacrifice yourself, you believe in the best in people, and in return you get ingratitude, indifference, and sometimes even betrayal, coldness, humiliation, or mockery. And at some point you ask yourself, is it worth it? Why is the world so unfair to those who try to be the light? Today I want to share with you the thoughts of Carl Jung, the Swiss psychologist who deeply understood human nature. He didn't give superficial advice. He looked straight into the darkness of the soul without turning away. And he said what most of us are afraid to admit. To truly be kind, you first have to meet your shadow, that part of yourself you try to hide. It is the key to personal power, dignity, and respect. In this video, you will discover 6 honest, profound, sometimes painful, but incredibly liberating pieces of advice from Carl Jung. You will understand why kindness without boundaries is not a virtue, but a path to self-destruction. Why your anger is not an enemy but a protector. Why trying to save everyone leads to losing yourself. And most importantly, you will learn how to gain inner wholeness, keeping your light, but no longer letting anyone manipulate it. Stay until the very end. The last thought from Jung, which I will share at the end of this video, can change not only how you see yourself, but how the world begins to treat you. It shatters the illusion that millions of good people live in and gives you a new perspective. Mature, deep, whole. This is not just philosophy. This is a path to inner freedom. If you have ever felt used, if your kindness has become your weakness, you must hear this. Subscribe right now so you don't lose these reflections. And please watch until the end. I promise you will not remain the same. Tip 1. Kindness without boundaries leads to self-destruction. Many of us were taught from childhood to be good. We were praised for obedience, for being accommodating, for wanting to help others even when it was hard for us. As we grow up, we carry this pattern into our relationships, our families, our work. We say yes when we want to say no. We stay silent when we're hurt. We help even when we are burned out inside. We think being kind means being endlessly available, always ready to rescue, always ready to yield. But Carl Jung saw this differently. He said, "He who does not know his shadow becomes its victim." And this fear of saying no, of setting boundaries, is nothing more than running away from your shadow. When kindness becomes infinite, it stops being a virtue and turns into self-destruction. People can sense when you're willing to give your last, and sadly, they don't always respond in kind. The world does not reward those who erase themselves for others. It simply uses them. Harsh but true. You stop being a person and become a convenient resource, a functional machine. You stay late at work to cover for a colleague. You drive a relative across town even though you're barely standing. And every time you betray yourself just to look good in someone else's eyes, you erase a piece of your own dignity. Jung insisted, true kindness is impossible without boundaries, because a boundary is not coldness, not indifference, it is love for yourself. It is an honest statement. This is where I end. This is my body, my peace, my time. People who respect themselves know how to say no, and others respect them too. Strangely enough, when you refuse, people begin to take you more seriously. They listen. Your yes starts to mean something. How do you change this? Start small. Next time someone asks you for something that stirs up resistance inside you, don't rush to agree. Pause. Listen to yourself. Ask, do I want to do this? If the answer is no, say it out loud. Calmly, without anger, without long explanations. Just say, sorry, I can't right now. At first it will feel uncomfortable, but then you will feel not guilt but a strange relief. The air will feel cleaner, your spine will straighten. This is what returning to yourself feels like. Jung said, boundaries are not cruelty. They are a way to preserve your integrity. Remember, kindness without boundaries is not strength. It is an open door through which anyone can walk, leaving their dust on you. Closing that door means choosing yourself for the first time. For real. Tip 2. Accept your anger, it is your power, not your shame. Good people are taught from childhood that anger is bad. That rage is something low, unacceptable, unworthy. You were told, be nice. Don't get angry. Keep quiet. Be smart. And you learned to suppress anger. You learned to swallow resentment, to smile while burning inside. But Carl Jung didn't see anger as an enemy, he saw it as power. He said, the shadow is not only evil, it is life energy. And anger is a signal. It shows where you are suffering, where you have been betrayed, where you have been unheard, where your boundaries are crossed again and again while you pretend it's fine. Anger is your inner alarm screaming, wake up! They are stepping on your soul again. But instead of standing up and protecting yourself, you switch it off. You pretend all is well, and then feel emptiness, shame, or a bitterness you carry for years. Suppressed anger does not disappear. Turns inward, festers, accumulates, destroys. You become anxious, irritable, exhausted, sometimes even sick because the body speaks for you. Jung warned, if you do not accept your anger, it will control you from the shadows. It can erupt at the worst moment as a sudden outburst, a scream, a breakdown, or turn into cold, hidden resentment that makes you a passive victim. But anger, when acknowledged, is protection. It is inner strength. It is the voice that says, you cannot treat me like this. How do you use it? Start by allowing yourself to feel anger without judgment, without fear. Next time someone speaks to you with contempt or acts unfairly, don't smile, don't run away. Just say to yourself, I am angry, and that is okay. You don't have to scream or start a fight. Acknowledgement is enough, it already gives you back control. Then think about how to act. Maybe you should say directly, I don't like this, or leave, or cut ties altogether. But let the decision come from strength, not fear. Jung wrote, what we accept no longer controls us. This applies to anger completely. Accepted anger does not destroy, it protects. It becomes your shield, your right to a voice, your choice to stay yourself. So don't fear it. Embrace it as part of you. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a person who knows their worth. Tip 3. Stop trying to save everyone. It's not your job. One of the most painful traps good people fall into is the role of the savior. You see someone suffering and rush to help, even if they didn't ask, even if it's the 10th time, even if it always ends with you exhausted while the one you save just shrugs and disappears. You feel like you are doing the right thing after all, you're a good person. But Carl Jung warned, in saving another, you may drown yourself. Behind the appearance of goodness, there is often an unconscious need to be needed. It's not always about love. Sometimes it's about fear of being forgotten, rejected, worthless. And so you cling to other people's drama. You cover for them, carry them, pull twice the weight. You are drawn to places where help is needed because otherwise you feel guilty. But here's what happens. The world quickly gets used to it. People stop seeing you as a person. They see a donor, emotional, physical, financial. And the more you give, the less they value you. Because value is what has limits, what is scarce. If you are always there, always solving other people's problems, you become the background. And nobody notices the background. Jung called this a shadow trap. When you focus on other people's pain, you avoid your own. You hide from your own questions, pain, emptiness, exhaustion, and you fill them with other people's requests. It looks noble, but in reality it's a way not to face yourself. And the world feels it. People start to take advantage. And you lose yourself. What should you do? Learn to tell where your help is appropriate and where it is destructive. If someone has been complaining about the same thing for years but doing nothing, they don't need help. They need attention. They need a crutch. And you are not obligated to be that crutch. Ask yourself, do I truly want to help? Or am I pulled there by fear? And another question, what do I need right now? Maybe it's not helping, but silence, rest, self-care. Jung wrote, he who does not save himself will save no one. This is not selfishness. It is maturity. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is step out of someone else's drama and take care of your own life. Only by filling yourself up can you truly support others without self-sacrifice, without resentment, without burning out. Remember, you are not obligated to be a permanent shoulder to cry on, to listen to complaints for 5 hours, to pull people out who don't want to change. Dropping the role of the savior is the first step to being seen, respected, and taken seriously. Tip 4. Allow yourself to be imperfect. That's what makes you alive. Good people often become prisoners of an image. You try to be perfect, always polite, helpful, fair, balanced. A mistake feels like a personal tragedy. A harsh word feels like a reason for repentance. Showing your fatigue feels like letting down the entire world. But Carl Jung said, perfection is an illusion of the ego, not the path to wholeness. Striving to be flawless does not bring you closer to the light. It makes you dead inside because you hide behind a mask. And masks are not loved. Masks are judged, compared, criticized, but never truly respected. People can feel when you are hiding behind this artificial perfection. They sense tension, falseness, fear, and that causes rejection because we are drawn to the living, those who can make mistakes, get tired, get angry, cry, those who are not afraid to be themselves. But you are afraid. Afraid that if you show weakness, you will be rejected. That if you say, I can't, you will be judged. That if you admit you are struggling, you will be abandoned. But Jung taught, the path to wholeness is not through perfection but through acceptance. Acceptance of your duality. You can be kind but not always soft, bright but aware of your shadow. And that is what makes you real. Takes off the armor, opens your heart. This is how genuine closeness with others is born. How do you practice this? Start by stopping apologizing for being human. Tired? Say so. Made a mistake? Say, yes, I made a mistake and I'll fix it. Don't hide your weaknesses. Don't justify them away. Just live with them, because it is in imperfection that authenticity appears, and authenticity is magnetic. People are drawn to those who are honest because there is strength in honesty. Jung called this individuation, the process where a person stops being a role and becomes themselves. They stop chasing an image and start building an inner core. They let go of the ideal and gain real, grounded, living strength. And that strength is attractive. It inspires respect. It builds trust. Remember, perfect people are not loved. Perfect people are feared. But real people are respected and valued. Allow yourself to be real. Allow yourself to be you. This is the true path to respect, first for yourself and then from the world. Tip 5. Sometimes you have to be bad to stay yourself. This may be the darkest, but also the most liberating of Carl Jung's tips. We are taught that kindness is our duty, that we must be convenient, patient, peacekeeping. That if you are a good person, you must understand, forgive, yield. But Jung said, the shadow is not only what we hide, it is what makes us whole. Sometimes, to save your soul, your strength, your honesty, you must dare to be bad in someone else's eyes. What does that mean? It means refusing when silence is expected of you. It means not smiling when you are humiliated. It means not compromising with yourself just to keep others comfortable. It means saying, I disagree. I don't want this. I can't do this. The world calls such people difficult, selfish, cold. But in reality, they are people with boundaries, people with honor, people who do not trade themselves for approval. How many times have you stayed silent just to avoid conflict? How many times have you forgiven those who never asked, just to keep the peace? How many times have you been angry at yourself for once again giving in, once again letting others decide how you should live? Jung warned, if you do not give your shadow an outlet, it will come out on its own as resentment, burnout, or even self-hatred. Being bad, in Jung's understanding, is not about cruelty or revenge. It is a mature stance. I don't have to be liked by everyone. I don't have to be convenient. I have to be myself. Sometimes saying no is an act of self-love. Sometimes a sharp reply is the only way to keep your integrity. Sometimes leaving is the only way not to lose yourself completely. What does this look like in practice? Imagine your coworker has been dumping their tasks on you for years. You endure it, thinking, well, I'm kind, it's no big deal. But inside, irritation grows, respect dwindles, and recognition is zero. Now imagine that one day you calmly say, no, this is your responsibility. No yelling, no apologies, just a fact. or a friend who calls only to complain but never asks about you. And you simply stop answering not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Jung called this shadow integration. It's when you don't kill your kindness, you put it on a solid foundation. You are no longer a victim. You are no longer controlled through guilt. You are a person with boundaries, with a voice, with the right to say no. Remember, being bad does not mean being cruel. It means being real. It means being honest. It means finally starting to respect yourself. And that is where respect from others begins. Tip 6. Stop waiting for other people's approval. That is the path to inner freedom. Good people often get trapped by other people's expectations. You live so as not to disappoint anyone. You say what others want to hear. You do what they expect. You smile when it hurts. You swallow resentment just so you don't seem difficult. And you do all this for one thing: to be accepted, to be approved, to hear someone say, "You're good." But Carl Jung said, as long as you depend on the opinion of others, you do not belong to yourself. And he was right. The craving for approval makes us prisoners. It's as if we live on someone else's leash, checking every step. Will they judge me? Reject me? Think badly of me? You can be an adult, successful, strong person, and still feel like a little child waiting for praise for every good behavior. This robs you of freedom. It steals your authenticity. When you are dependent on external approval, you begin to betray yourself. You agree to what's uncomfortable, you stay silent when you need to speak, you act not as you wish, but as is right. And at some point you realize you're not living your life. You don't even know who you are without other people's reactions and judgments. Jung taught that a mature person does not seek validation of their worth, they know it. They don't need applause to do what is right. They don't sacrifice themselves for likes in real life or in their head. They act from inner strength. How do you change this? Start noticing when you make decisions only because you fear disapproval. For example, you agree to a meeting you don't want just so you don't seem rude. Or you stay in a relationship where warmth has long gone because you fear loneliness or judgment. Ask yourself, if no one was watching, what would I do? That will be your honest choice. Even if it's uncomfortable, even if someone doesn't like it, even if someone leaves, that just means they were not with the real you, but with your mask. And if the mask is gone, let those who loved it go too. The real ones will stay and respect you more. Jung said, true freedom comes when you no longer need others' approval to be yourself. Remember this. Every time you go against yourself to meet someone else's expectations, you lose a piece of your soul. But every time you say to yourself, I don't have to be liked by everyone, you take it back. Kindness is not weakness, but kindness without boundaries, without support, without maturity can destroy you. Carl Jung showed us, being only light is dangerous, because light without darkness blinds. It blinds both you and others. Only the one who has accepted their shadow becomes truly strong. Only then does kindness stop being sacrifice and become choice. Only then do you start living your own life instead of someone else's expectations. Take this path. Set boundaries so people start respecting you. Allow yourself to get angry so you stop being destroyed inside. Stop saving everyone so you can save yourself. Allow yourself to make mistakes, to get tired, to be alive. Don't be afraid to be bad, if that is what preserves your integrity. And most importantly, let go of the need for other people's approval, because your true strength is not in being liked by everyone, it is in staying yourself even when you are misunderstood. Now think, where in your life has kindness turned into weakness? Where do you betray yourself for the sake of a world that doesn't deserve it? Where do you stay silent while a voice inside screams, enough? Take the first step today. Write in the comments which of Jung's 6 tips resonated with you most. In which situation did you recognize yourself? Or maybe you have already started this path and are ready to share your experience. I will read every comment because that is where the real magic happens. In dialogue, in pain, in honesty. If this conversation resonated with you, like this video to support topics like this. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.